Hi, Michael Yarden here, and today I'd like to share some thoughts with anybody who's interested in property, either from a wealth creation perspective or if you're looking to buy your next home. Now, it's safe to say that no one's going to forget 2020. This year is going to go down in the history books as a year when a silent enemy attacked us, but it's also going to go down as a year when we won the battle and life got back to normal. Now, I'm not sure what you're doing at present. I'm not sure how you're thinking at present, but I've been speaking with a lot of our clients at Metropole, and I wanted to share with you what I found out about the way people are thinking about the current situation and about property, because I've found out that they fall into three categories, which I'm going to explain to you in a moment. And as I explain them, I'd like you to think about where you sit on these models I'm going to share. How are you thinking? What are you doing? Because as I'm about to explain, some strategic property investors are taking advantage of this opportunity to set the foundations for significant future success. So while this is going to take a couple of minutes, I believe this is one of the most important messages I can offer people to give some certainty, to give some clarity, to give some reassurance in these very unusual times. So I am going to give you some certainties because there are things, even in these unusual, uncertain times, that are certain. So please let me just walk through a couple of models with you so that you see where you fit in and what you can do. Currently, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. Now, I'm recording this video in April 2020, and it feels like there's a lot of uncertainty. It's a tough place to be. People just aren't sure what's going to happen. People are looking for a level of certainty, but there is some certainty. I can tell you that in 24 months' time, it's going to be April 2022. But for some people, that's just too far away. It just seems too far to think about. Another thing I can tell you with certainty is that at some point, and I don't know when that's going to be, could be 6 months, 12 months, it's not going to be 24 months, but at some point, we're going to pass a line that I'm calling the survival line that you can see on this chart here. And the survival line is when people's level of desire to move forward overtakes their fears. Some people say that's actually when greed overtakes fear. But on the other side of the survival line, there are going to be many opportunities to thrive. Unfortunately, in difficult times like this, there is always a bit of a cleaning out. Some property investors are going to fall by the wayside, and that's terrible, and some businesses won't survive. But research has shown that there are three very different types of thinking people have got at the moment. Some people are on this red line, the red line facing downwards into panic. They freeze. They don't respond. If you think about it in terms of freeze, flight, and fight, which I'm going to show you the other lines in a moment, these people are on the freeze line. Recent research has shown that these property investors use fear-focused language 9 times more than strategic investors. Clearly, there are going to be some business owners, and you should consider yourself as the owner of your property investment business. Clearly, there's going to be some property investors. They're going to end up on this red line, and they shouldn't be there. And that's really one of the great tragedies of the current situation, when people are frozen with fear and panic and end up on this red line, a downward trajectory, and they don't even get to the survival line. They panic, they sell up their portfolio. And once the COVID virus situation's over, they've actually lost their portfolio. They're not going to be in a position to take advantage of the opportunities that come. Other investors are going to find themselves on this amber line, going through the middle. Lots of ups and downs between then and now and then, and they're eventually going to cross the survival line. Some people call these preppers. These people are in the flight line, if you consider those three lines I'm mentioning, the freeze, the flight, and the fight. These are the people that are going into hibernation mode. They bunker down. They're going to say, let's buy all the rice and pasta we can eat and just bunker down. They just want to stay low. They want to ride it out. And they will make it to the 24-month mark. They are going to make it across the survival line, but that'll be 2 years down the track, and they're going to be in exactly the same situation they are now, or probably a bit worse because they're going to lose 2 years of their life. These people tend to use unfocused language. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen. The future is unclear. We're not sure what to do. While the red line is fear-focused, it's all going to fall apart. Everyone's going to go bankrupt. The world is ending. These people are more unfocused. There is another line. It's this green line where strategic investors are positioning themselves for the future. These investors are using strategy-focused language. What specifically are we going to do about this? How are we going to walk through this? They're not just going to get through it, they're positioning themselves for prosperity. And the real difference between these three groups is in their thinking. But when people on the green line cross the survival line, a few things are going to happen. There's going to be suddenly a rush of opportunities for them. And it will depend upon the foundations, the foundation period that we are now in, the period between where we are now in the survival line, as to how well you're going to thrive once you cross the survival line. You can't just make it up when you cross the survival line. You've got to set the foundations now. Now, the thing is, when you look at these three lines right now, they all look much the same. Well, especially when you look at it from the outside. But when you look at how people are thinking, when you look at what they're doing, you'll see that some people are positioning themselves. They're positioning themselves for the future, I guess, while other people are positioning themselves for failure. The strategic window is right now. The time to get yourself set before the survival line is reached, I don't know, it could only be a couple of months away. So what are you planning to do in this strategic window in the next couple of months between now and when we cross the survival line? Even if you look at the three lines as they cross the survival line, the amber and the green lines might even look a little bit the same, but the people on the green line, they're going to have positioned themselves dramatically differently. But there's another certainty I can provide. When we cross the survival line, there'll be a rush in the marketplace for property. There always has been. After every stock market crash, after every recession, there's been a flight to quality. People are going to come out of lockdown. They're going to look to buy properties. People that couldn't move during the lockdown, but they're going to want to buy properties at a price that they know is a bargain compared to what they would have paid 6 months ago. And probably when they look back in the future, they're going to say, gee, wasn't that a great opportunity? The strategy-focused investor will have used this time, the time now, between now and the survival line, this strategic window to build a foundation. See, you can't just jump from the amber line to the green line once you've hit the survival line. You're going to have done your homework beforehand, to position yourself beforehand, to get your finance in place, to build a property strategic plan so you know what to do, when to do, how to do, to get your ownership structures in place. Here you can see the gap between the amber line and the green line, or the green line and the red line. The truth is, this gap is a function of you, the decisions you make and the actions you take now, and the thinking that is driving the decisions you're making. So which line do you want to be on? Have a think about the people you're talking with, that you're surrounding yourself with, and the way they're thinking. What are the conversations of those people that you're dealing with? Are they on the green line? Probably not, because most people are currently talking as if they're at least on the amber line and many on the red line. And that's what we're going to do when we get together and have a chat with you at Metropole. We're going to explore the differences between these lines. The difference starts right here, right now, on the choices you make today. So what's really going on? Why are people thinking differently? Well, if you think about the human condition and experiences we live through, there's two aspects to those experiences. There's a simple passing of time, and some people have a view that time's finite. In other words, it's limited and we're really stuck in the here and now. And some people believe that time is infinite. In other words, there's a future and we should focus on that. Think about how you're thinking about time at the moment in your current situation. Are you on the left side of the scale, pretty consumed about what's going on at the moment, wondering when is all this going to end? When are we going to get through it? How will we get through it? What's the carnage going to be once we get through it? That type of thinking is stuck in the here and now. Or are you thinking, if I look at this, I can probably come through this on the other side, and there's some pretty interesting things happening on the other side, but I need to take care of my risks. I need to protect myself. The other aspect of the human condition is the situation itself. So the left side of this matrix represents the current situation, or more particularly your perception, people's perception of the situation today. Some people see it as the end of the world. And for some people, it's really difficult. The circumstances are tragic and it makes them feel that way. Yet other people see it as a reset for growth. It's not a particularly pleasant time at present, but if you think about the planet, interestingly, the planet's breathing better, isn't it? Industries stopped. The canals in Venice are the cleanest they've been for a long time. The smog's lifted over China. There's a reset for growth in many other ways as well. So looking at this aspect, the current situation, where do you find yourself on this scale? Are you seeing it as the end of the world, or are you seeing it as a reset of growth? Now, let's play with this model a little bit further to see how it plays out. People in the lower left quadrant, the red quadrant, they're feeling pretty lost at the moment. They feel like it's the end of the world and it's going to happen right now. These people are lost, but that's okay. And what often goes with this is they're wanting to be rescued. These people can be rescued, they can be helped, but only if they grab hold of the life ring when you throw it out to them. In the lower right amber quadrant are people who are saying, this is the end of the world, but it's going to go on forever. These people are playing victim. That's the way they're thinking, and they want to be served. They think the government's got to fix this, somebody's got to fix this. And now that's understandable as people feel they've got no control, control's being taken away from them, and they're asking who's going to take care of me. People in the top left amber quadrant are people who are seeing this as a reset for growth, but they've got to handle what's going on right now because they can't think past the right now. These people are what I call fighters. They say, help me. They're looking at this saying, I'm not lying down. This is a reset for growth. I just need to get through this. I need to get through these tough times right now, and then I'll be able to get to the other side. Now, these people need help. They want to think this through. They want to get clarity. They want to pick a strategy to move forward. They want to keep driving their property investment business or their profession or their other business. And in the top right dark green quadrant, there are those people who are looking at this as a reset for growth. And they believe we're going to get through this. And on the other side is unlimited opportunity. It's interesting. There's a correlation between how we view time and how we view opportunities. If we see time as finite, as limited, as that's all we got now, all we can do is just around us right now, these people aren't able to see opportunities. If we view time as unlimited, if we can see into the future, we see there's future opportunities, the longer view of time you've got, the more opportunities you can see. Now, these people in the top right-hand corner, the green quadrant, which to be blunt correlates with the green line in the futures model I showed you a moment ago, these people are leaders. They can take control of their future. They take leadership of their property investment portfolio. But these people are also looking for guidance. They're looking for guidance now. They're looking for insight. They're looking at their property portfolio and wondering, how can I protect it and how can I grow it? They're wondering, what are the deep insights that can help me do that? People in the fighter quadrant are looking at what steps they can do to protect their portfolio. People in the lost quadrant are wondering, how can we quit the property market now, cash up, get out, because they're just not sure that they can be rescued. And even if we throw them a lifeline, they're usually not willing to take it because they've just decided to quit. They've decided to quit prematurely, and that's tragic. And those in the victim quadrant, they've decided to delegate their decisions. They need to lean on somebody. Now, that's okay because there's so much going on at the moment, they don't feel like they can trust themselves. So what are you thinking at present? Are you sitting on the red line, the amber line, or the green line? And looking at that model I showed you a moment ago of the quadrants, which quadrant are you sitting in? What Metropol's aiming to do is work with our clients to keep a future perspective and get you into that top right-hand corner while we help you deal with the here and now and move towards that top green quadrant. To get through this, you need to build the foundations at this stage of the cycle before we cross the survival line. Now that I've shown you these two models, where do you sit? What are you thinking? What are you doing to get set for the next stage of the property cycle? Because I believe this window of opportunity is only short. Now, to be honest, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know it's going to be gone before you know it. I genuinely believe now is the time to take action. Take action to set yourself up for the opportunities that are going to present themselves as the market moves on. And you can trust the team at Metropol to provide you with direction, guidance, and results. In these challenging times, like we're currently experiencing, you need an advisor who takes a holistic approach to your wealth creation, and that's what you're getting when you have the multi-award winning team at Metropole on your side. So if you're looking to buy your next home or an investment property, there are 4 ways we can help you. Number 1, we give strategic property advice. Please allow us to build a strategic property plan for you and your family. Planning is bringing your future into the present so you can do something about it now. This is going to give you direction, it's going to give you results, it's going to give you certainty. Yes, we've got a buyer's agency. We're Australia's most trusted buyer's agency. We've been involved in well over $3.5 billion worth of transactions creating wealth for our clients. And we can do the same for you. We've got our on-the-ground teams in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane bringing you years of experience, bringing you perspective, the sort of perspective that money can't buy. Will help you find your next home or your investment property. Our wealth advisory service through Ken Race will bring you strategic, tailored financial planning and wealth advice. And with property management, we can help you during these challenging times. Our stress-free property management services help you maximise your property returns. So why not get the team at Metropole on your side? We have a whole range of services. You may just choose to use some. You may choose to use the whole one-stop shop. That's up to you. But I look forward to being part of your wealth creation journey.